Well, the spate of insecurity in the southeast has drawn the attention of stakeholders in the region. After 4 hours of closed-door meeting, southeast leaders yesterday resolved to seek an audience with President Tinubu on the security situation in the region. At the meeting, presided by President General Ohanaeze Ndigbo, Iwuanyanwu, leaders across political party lines decided to work together for the good of the region. The zone has for years been reeling under a regular Monday sit-at-home enforced by criminals who attack markets, destroy property, and kill those who they accuse of violating the directive. I'm joined now by President General Ohanaeze Ndigbo, Chief Emmanuel Iwuanyanwu, who is joining us to give more perspective to this development. But while we're working on that connection, let's take a look at some feedback we're getting on Twitter as regards the question we asked earlier about Mr. President's performance in the past few weeks in office. And it's been, an interesting development as to the comments we're receiving. For Stephen Plank, it says he may have hit the ground running on sound footing, but is yet to feel the suffering of the people. The cost of living, according to him, is very high. Hashtag first 100 days. I believe in President Tinubu's presidency to move the country, Nigeria, to greater heights in the eyes of the world, not Africa alone. Therefore, the president should make the right choice of his ministers, as there's no room for excuse again. Meanwhile, there's a constitutional provision for 60 days, and that's just about a few more than 20 days available for the president to make that decision. For at PH, the fact, 36th day of his first 100 days has been goodies on goodies. The monster of fuel subsidy gone, electricity bill to open up the sector signed, tax relief executive order delivered, appointment of Taiwo Yedele to head tax reform shows better days ahead. That's according to FM. And for Unweke Monday Anthony, it says the Tinubu administration is a dynamic one and permit me to say he has a better experience. He knows what to do at the right time. But the policy on fuel subsidy, according to him, is a no. And Jerry Ochada says President Tinubu is trying his best to revamp the Nigerian economy. His new tax law is a welcome development that must be applauded. Well, now quickly let's turn our attention to the President General of the Ohanaeze Ndigbo, Chief Emmanuel Iwuanyanwu. Thank you so much for joining us on the program this evening. Let's begin very quickly with one of the many reactions trailing yesterday's meeting online. There are some who have asked why such conversation wasn't held in Awka or Nnewi or any other state capital in the southeast. How do you respond to those who hold this position, and what informed the choice of Abuja?
Well, thank you very much for inviting me to this discussion. The fact is, the meeting, I summoned this meeting only to address the National Assembly. This meeting was basically to address the National Assembly, and they have been on recess, and they just opened. And then I wanted to address them with the governors. And you see, there are so many, and governors are few. I think the only convenient place to address them, very convenient, is Abuja. Since they are based in Abuja, it is more convenient for a few of us to travel to meet them in Abuja.
Indeed.
So it was just for convenience, not for anything. All our meetings we have held so far were held in Enugu. Even when we received the British High Commissioner, we received them in Enugu. So we don't have any problem holding our meetings in Enugu or any part of the southeastern states.
Well, I think that answers the curiosity of those who have raised that question. Talking about the governors, 2 out of 5 southeast governors were present at that meeting. How unanimous are the other governors on the decisions made yesterday?
Now, I don't blame the governors. The point is that, you see, I have been on tour southwest, so I was very busy all through, and I will be going abroad very shortly. So I just wanted to talk to the National Assembly before I travel, and I didn't have too much time. And you see, by the time I invited the governors, some of them were abroad. Some of them have had some very serious commitments. But all of them came together under their leadership. They have a chairman of their forum, His Excellency Senator Hope Uzodimma. So all of them came and they told me that Governor Hope Uzodimma will represent them. I spoke to all the governors of the Southeast. And I want to say here that for the first time, I'm now heading Igbo land. I'm leading Igbo land where everybody is united, where the governors are united. So the governors now speak with one voice. So they mandated Hope Uzodimma to represent them at the meeting I had with the National Assembly. And Hope Uzodimma represented them very well. And in fact, even His Excellency, the governor of Ebonyi State was there. So there is the point, every decision taken is binding and is acceptable to everybody. Thank you very much.
So you mentioned that leaders in the Southeast have decided to work together, even across political line. But someone like the Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi was, obviously missing at that meeting. Was he invited? What exactly is he involved in this arrangement?
No, he's not involved at all. This is purely Ohanaeze arrangement. And you see, I think there must have been an oversight in my office. My office. If Peter Obi is invited, I'm sure he will attend. Peter Obi is a very loyal and faithful citizen, a member of Ohanaeze Ndigbo. He's a member and he's very faithful and loyal. I haven't talked to him, but I believe that he didn't get a proper invitation. And that can be a fault from my own office. So I know that Peter Obi have attended every Ohanaeze ceremony we invited him. And of course, that is why Ohanaeze supported him fully when he ran for presidency.
All right, Chief, let's talk about the resolution made yesterday. The meeting lasted as long as 4 to 6 hours thereabout, and you have resolved to make a representation to the president for his intervention in ending insecurity in the region. What form of intervention really are you seeking?
Well, I'm telling you that Nigeria is facing through a very serious crisis. We have never had it like this insurgency. Every part of Nigeria is a problem. And our own is even unique. When our own people are stopping our people from making their livelihood, so it's a very troublesome thing for us. They are blaming all this on the arrest and detention of Nnamdi Kanu. Now, this has got out of hand. People are worried. That is why, if you notice, all leaders of Igbo land, the 5 governors, political leaders, even myself, as the leader of Igbos today, President General Ohanaeze Ndigbo, I have joined in appealing to the president, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, to help us to secure the release of Nnamdi Kanu. When Nnamdi Kanu is released, we will now know who is a criminal, because we suspect that most of these people are criminals who are using Nnamdi Kanu's detention as an excuse to commit crimes. So once Nnamdi Kanu is reduced, if the governors now take, or the law enforcement agencies take serious action to attack the government or those engaged in this type of activities, nobody will blame them.
Chief, let me just butt in very quickly. So, talking about the appeal to have Nnamdi Kanu released, you mentioned yesterday that those killing and kidnapping can't say they are working for Biafra or Nnamdi Kanu. So if they don't work for Nnamdi Kanu and they don't answer to him, what do you think his release will foster peace in that region?
Well, the point about it is that this is the reason these people are giving. And then, of course, even we as a people, We have looked at the substance of Nnamdi Kanu's case. The judiciary in Nigeria has declared Nnamdi Kanu to be freed. We in Ohanaeze, we the Igbos, we are law-abiding citizens. We believe in the power of judiciary. If a judiciary has examined the case and said that Nnamdi Kanu should be released, we believe that any good government should release the person. When the judiciary says he should be released, and we have not been told any serious offense Nnamdi Kanu committed. Nnamdi Kanu has not been carrying any gun, has not been caught with AK-47. He has not been charged of murdering or killing anybody.
But there are video evidence of him inciting violence.
But let me tell you,
there are actually video evidence of him inciting violence in the East. You haven't seen any of them too?
What?
I said there are video evidence of him inciting violence, asking people to take arms and, you know, cause mayhem in the country. You haven't seen that?
But he denies it. He denies it, and then that is, the court has released him. If court has found him guilty, the court could have convicted him. The court could have jailed him, but the court has released him. We have in this country today people who have gone to Kuje prison and released people. Release all people who have murdered Nigerians, killed Nigerians. Nobody has made any arrest. Nobody has done anything to them. They are free. We have in this country today people who have gone and kidnapped people, derailed the train. Nigeria borrowed a lot of money in refurbishing our railway system.
All right, now, Chief. Let me just bring this up very quickly because of our time. If you can hear me, yes. The Court of Appeal did release him, but if you follow that story, the same court reverted and came up with a stay of execution, and that case is currently with the Supreme Court. But if you're following reaction to your meeting, which held yesterday, in response to that meeting, one Simon Ekpa, who's the factional leader of IPOB, announced a 2-week sit-at-home in the Southeast starting from 31st July. According to him, he says that it will be observed, or rather, yes, it will be observed to invalidate what he calls the illegitimacy of those who paraded themselves as Nigeria's representatives within Biafran territory. How do you react to that?
Well, the point about it, to be honest, I'm the leader of Igbos. I don't even know this man called Simon Ekpa. I don't believe any right-thinking Igbo or Nigerian. I don't believe any right-thinking Igbo or Nigerian who will stop his people from earning a livelihood, will stop them from going to school, will stop them from pursuing the occupation, will even go to kill them. I don't believe it. So I intend myself as a leader myself as a leader. I'll talk with him. I will, if possible, appeal to him. I will appeal to him as a father, because in my capacity, I'm the father of every Igbo person. I intend, if possible, to travel to wherever he lives, to go and see him, to appeal to him, to find out if and beg him, let him know that he's causing a lot of damage and harm to our people. Meanwhile, I know that, see, the governors may be tempted to use force.
Okay.
I will be very unhappy, because as a father, I don't want my children to be killed. I will be very sad if anything is done to kill my children. So it is better that they avoid it. And of course, if they continue, no government can fold his hands and see somebody living outside the country trying to give directives and stop everything. especially when it is not in interest of the people.
I'm afraid we have to go now, Chief Iwuanyanwu. But just very quickly, if you can, in a minute, you attempted to be president 3 times yourself. What's your, what's your reaction? How do you feel about the first 42 days of the Bola Tinubu presidency?
One thing is clear. Bola Tinubu's first period, 42 days in office, is much better than what we saw in Buhari. It's much better because, you see, I'm talking now as Igbo leader. We have seen the appointments he made. We have at least an Igbo man in the defense metrics. So we have seen that there is consideration. So it looks to us that
it does seem the president.
It is clear to us that in case of Buhari was very hostile to us. But mark you, Buhari towards the end became very good. Buhari towards the end of his tenure did everything to reverse it. It was very good to our people. He opened up things like dredging of Buta.
All right.
Brought the teaching hospital to Imo in Ebonyi. He did a number of
we
things.
know exactly how you feel about the outgone president and what he did for the Southeast. I'm afraid that's our time. President General Ohanaeze Ndigbo, Chief Emmanuel Iwuanyanwu, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us on the program today.
Thank you very much.
And that's our program today. You can watch a repeat broadcast at midnight and at 6 a.m. tomorrow. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. It's bye for now.